Honestly, I was supposed to have questions today. I don't have like a lot of questions.
Okay.
But overall, great job today.
Thank you.
Can you guys just introduce yourselves real quick?
My name is Julia Netter. I currently play for the CSUN Women's Volleyball Club team, and I'm a middle blocker and outside hitter.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Tu, and I'm not playing for any school right now, and I'm just playing for fun. I'm a setter.
Nice. I was gonna ask you. AJ wanted me to ask you this because I had like a little chat with her earlier. How was your first time transitioning from middle to outside?
So it was like, it wasn't just a one day I decided to switch. It was little by little. I was just getting bored of middle because I had played it for so long. And one of my weak spots was, and still it kind of is, defense and like serve receive. And I feel like I never really got an opportunity to work on that when I was a middle, because it was like, well, you never need to do that, so don't worry about it. But I really wanted to work on it. So the team that I was on at the time at Pierce, we had a couple of strong middles and not so many strong outsides. Like, we needed a lot of hitters. So I asked my coach if I could switch, and he was like, okay, we'll work on it, we'll see.
Okay.
And it was not as hard as I thought. Like, definitely the hardest part was improving my defense and servicing.
Okay.
But in terms of
for
like,
outside.
yeah, for outside. But the hitting part, like, I just enjoyed it so much more because I got way more opportunities to hit, and I didn't have to run across the front of the court to block anymore. I could just stay in one spot, so it was fun.
Okay. I was actually watching your game earlier against Channel Islands. That was the easiest game.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm falling asleep over here.
I
Where's
know.
Two?
Yeah.
And then
calling me, I'm like, oh, where are you?
Yeah. And like I was watching you and the setter like try and connect with the 3-ball.
Yeah.
That took probably like what, 3 sets to get 3 actual attempt sets to get used to.
It's still iffy. Like, I think the last season they were used to a lot of slower middle sets.
Yeah.
So like now that we're starting to speed it up, it's like kind of a learning curve.
A little faster pace.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions? I don't have much. I'm just going with the flow today.
Okay, for us, okay, I have a question. Like, I think about it yesterday. So what do you think about like the short player that can still play for the high level? I'm talking about
Short
D1 player,
that
yeah.
can play at a high
High
level.
yeah.
That sounds exhausting.
But
'Cause,
you know,
like, oh, go ahead.
for me, like so tall people that get like a lot of events. That's why like I see a lot of people like they just play volleyball for 2 years or 1 year, but they're like tall and they're athletic. They get like a bunch of scholarship. You know, like, because they're tall.
I think it's just a lot tougher at the highest level if you're shorter, because you have to work a lot harder.
Yeah.
You have to jump higher than most taller people. Like
Yeah.
if a tall person, like let's say 6'5", has like a 25-inch vertical, and obviously that's going to be way easier for them. And if you're 5'8", you need like a 40-inch vertical just to keep up with them. But the time for you to get up in the air and be able to block or hit, they're just there a lot faster than you are. So, and plus, going off like energy systems, the shorter guy is just going to be a lot tired, way faster and sooner. Or like for me, I'm cramping up like as I play.
Yeah.
And so it's exhausting, but there's still a way around it, whether it's like going off tooling or fighting against the ball.
small
But
and
when you're all on the same level, it's just
it
just becomes a different gameplay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, well, where else did you play?
I just play for open gym, just play around. Yeah, nothing much.
Okay. And then what's both of your next goals with volleyball? Like, is it something you want to pursue? Is it something that you want to keep playing, or is it just something where it's college and then done, focus on my career, go from there?
Okay, that's a good question because I'm not playing college anymore. For me, I'm just like enjoy the volleyball, play for like a good volleyball as long as I can. Just enjoy the game. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same for me. I think I have 4 more years of eligibility for this club team, and I'm going to try to use as much of that as possible. And then, just keep involving myself as much as I can. I coach right now for a club team.
Where are you coaching?
I coach at KOA.
Where?
KOA.
Koa. Is that
coach
the
together.
one in in West Hills? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that I love, like keeps me involved, like seeing the younger generation. And then I do want to find, like once I'm done here at CSUN, like a rec league or something like that I can just keep playing for as long as I possibly can.
We're gonna have to find. So, have you seen the rec leagues around this area before?
Not really.
Okay, they're not the great.
Yeah.
But a lot of, I think we're playing next week, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like those leagues, West Side, Ivy Ball, like the competition over there is just way better.
Yeah.
'Cause, like I've been here for like 15 years, and there hasn't been good volleyball, like recreationally. So it's just best to go out there and then
True.
compete out there.
Well, hopefully soon there will be
Yeah.
here.
Hopefully, yeah, that's the goal. That's always the goal. Like be able to grow the community out here in this area.
And I'm really happy that you actually play with us next week.
I know, me too. I'm
Oh
so
yeah, I'm
excited.
I'm super excited for that one.
Bang out.
Yeah.
Bang out to me.
We'll be fine. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be. I haven't played reverse in a while, but like I love reverse. It's just.
Yeah. I had never heard of that
jinx it.
before. Yeah, until
Oh,
you
really?
told me about it, I never like even knew what that meant.
Yeah. So it's basically girls hit and block.
Yeah.
Guys just do all the defense and setting for the most part. But it's like way longer rallies than what you're experiencing
sure,
now
yeah.
because all the guys are just like, oh, I'll just take every single ball.
Yeah.
Easy to pick it up.
You gotta get
Yeah.
creative.
Like actually hit hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be so fun.
I have a question.
Sure.
What are your guys' opinions on the NCAA rule change to
Oh.
allow doubles?
Oh shoot, that's tough.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm okay with it because there's so many factors. I'm okay with it because there are players that have a hard time setting, but also I think the rule changes for the referees because a lot of it is subjective. Older referees, from what I've heard, they'll call a set based on the spin of the ball. And like the more modern, newer referees, they were taught call the set based on how they release their hands. Because you can release your hands and it's even, but the ball's still spinning.
Yeah.
And they're taught not to call a double because their hands were even. But other refs, even if there's no spin and their hands look funky, they'll call a double on it. Very rare for that to happen, but I think they want to take away the subjective aspect of it and just let everyone just double if needed. I don't know. What do you guys think?
But at the same time, it's like it's that job, no? They have to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And as D1 level, you know, like NCAA, so, you know, like they're good enough to not double.
Right.
You know, what I'm saying? Like they're literally play for D1. Come on now, like even me, like I'm not double. I'm not. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying. But yeah.
We're amateur volleyball
Yeah.
players.
I'm just thinking about it.
I feel like I totally get where you're coming from, and like I agree with what you said too. That at the high level, like those refs should be
Top tier.
experienced enough,
Exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
to know and see the difference. And to me, like if I was a setter and I had worked all my life to be that good
Right.
and got to that D1 level and like perfected my craft, and all of a sudden a rule changes to make like the standards lower,
Right.
I would be so annoyed.
Yeah, because it's like all that hard work you just put in for
Exactly.
years, all of a sudden just taken away. It's like your value as a setter, it just disappears. Like
Yeah.
anyone could be a setter just by
Exactly.
tossing a ball up
Exactly,
like a
yeah.
basketball or whatever.
It makes it like the skill a little bit more attainable.
Yeah.
When it's like a very niche, like specific, hard skill to learn.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you 100%.
And the same thing, and a setter is literally a most important position in volleyball too. Setter is like the most important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. That's how you run your offense.
Yeah,
and
how
like,
you run your offense and you, yeah. That's how I think it.
question, should it be an actual rule?
is that what rule?
Should it be a rule?
I think yeah. I think
Yeah? Like, wait, like they can double?
No, I don't
Oh.
think
They cannot. I
Okay.
don't think
yeah,
so.
yeah,
I
yeah. I
think the
figured.
rule should stay as it has been.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do that in high school, but like not in college level. That's how or
I can see that.
you know, like
I had like another
yeah.
follow-up question like that.
Yeah.
Which I think isn't that already the case? Like refs in college and refs for like college refs, like NCAA refs and club team refs, they have different rules. right?
I believe
like, I
so.
feel like I've heard that. And especially like at the lower level, it is so dependent on the ref themselves. And sometimes, like, because I coach, sometimes the refs will come and tell us, hey, look, like, I'm not calling doubles today. And I'm like, okay. Or like,
depending on like the skill gap.
yeah, things like that. They're like, unless it's a ball being sent over, then I won't call the double. So yeah, at the lower levels, I don't think it matters too much. But NCAA, it should be enforced.
It should be solid set and just
Has to be like no stealing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Has it been enforced like fully?
I don't think not yet.
Okay. I'm like trying to. Oh man, that would be so stressful.
I know.
Right.
Okay, keep going about volleyball. So do you think like women volleyball is more skilled than men volleyball?
More skilled.
Because like when you watch like college level, they're just more like powerful.
Yeah.
But like woman is a more rally,
Right.
you know.
Skill based, I would say women have the technique way better than the guys. Just because of strength and power, like guys can just power through anything, but like their skill could be so ugly. Like I've seen so many arm swings that are like disgusting and like you're gonna injure yourself in the future. I hope you're taking care of your arm or your shoulder. But with women's, I think with the energy systems, they have so much more endurance that they need on the court, whether it's being jumping all the time, staying on defense, transitioning back and forth off the net. With guys, if we were to do that for long rallies, I feel like we would be exhausted just like that.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like women's, you have to be a little bit more disciplined with your technique. And but I don't think it's like a matter of one is more skillful than the other. I think like obviously you have to have skill to be able to do it in the first place. But yeah, just different techniques, I feel like I've never coached a boys team, but I feel like coaching a boys team might be a little bit more simple. You wouldn't have to go into as much detail about like you need to be exactly here and do this exact footwork. I feel like with boys it's a little more like just do it. And like I don't know. It's a little more simple or easy to
Makes sense because of the strength.
yeah, because
I
of
think
the strength.
with women's too, girls volleyball, they just need more reps because most of them start at a very young age. And you can tell if they played club like in middle school or practice because the difference between middle school and high school, huge difference. If they just started in high school, it's like this is going to be a long training session or a long season. So personally, I've always had trouble coaching girls.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because my personality or like I just didn't know what I enjoyed, who I enjoyed with coaching. Because I used to coach the Seasun Women's Club.
Okay.
I had such a hard time because I just graduated from college and I knew the people in the club. And I've always told myself I'm not going to be coaching people I know like on a personal level because it just makes it hard for me as a coach.
It is hard.
I also did that when I coached at Northridge Academy or graduated from Northridge Academy. I was like, damn, this is the toughest 2 years of my life just because I know them on a personal level.
Yeah.
So when I did that for college, I was like, why am I doing this? By the way, we're at the SRC at Seasun, so if you hear any background noise, just know there's also a tournament going on right now. So do you know, like, if you like, have you coached boys before?
I haven't, no.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
that'll be a difference. So what's so special about coaching girls? Like, what do you think is the most important part when coaching girls women's volleyball?
I think the most important thing is honestly like their self-esteem and kind of their reaction to failure. I think just because of like gender norms and stuff, not that boys don't feel that same way, but maybe they hide it a little bit better or like don't let it affect them as much because they're kind of taught not to. But with girls, like they so easily get in their head about mistakes. Like you can see it, especially the younger girls, see it on their face. They do one thing wrong and they're like completely defeated.
Yeah, like break down.
Yeah, and so it's like just a matter of drilling into their head, like this game is a game of mistakes and nobody is gonna not ever make a mistake. And you have to learn to like have that short-term memory and just forget and move on and next point, next ball, you know? And they struggle with that a lot.
Yeah. So as a coach, do you think using a lot of powerful words like words of affirmation, like words of empowerment are crucial? Because I think when the girls see that, they're like, oh, my coach wants us to be this way, needs us to be this way in order to perform. And like when they see that, their confidence just skyrockets.
Yeah, definitely. I think that. When I was a little bit older, like I had coaches who were the type, a little more strict, and were the type to only point out the things you do wrong, and not really give you credit when you do things right, because it was a kind of an attitude of like, well, that's your job, so I don't need to be praising you for doing what you should be doing. And I think when you're a little older, it's kind of easier to deal with that. But at the younger level, like that will completely ruin the sport for them.
Right.
You know, like you have to catch them doing it right every single time and point it out and like give them that encouragement, and still hold them accountable when they do things wrong. But you know, be their biggest cheerleader kind of thing. Yeah.
That's so tough. I feel like since I kind of grew up like just being taught to be tough, and like I didn't really learn like empowering words. It was just like you have to be a certain way when playing volleyball or any type of sport. And I was like, when I coach girls, I was like, I don't even know what words to use or like how to encourage them, because I was such a young coach at the time that I think as I got older, now I realize looking back, I'm like, I probably should not have been coaching at such a young age, because I think I needed to mature a little bit more and learn a little bit more about myself and my values, and bring that to a team, whether it's volleyball, basketball, whatever sport you're coaching. It's in any sports.
For me, it's really hard for coach girl or team, because it's just like you need a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Like a lot of patience. Like because for me, I don't want to get any trouble. I'm also a young coach too, and you don't want to like yell at them. Like you know, you gotta be like, you gotta be patient every time, and then calm, like deep breath every time. Even like I tell them to like do something like, imagine I tell them hold their phone, right? Like when they're passing, hold their phone, and it's like, oh yeah. And then next ball coming up, they still break their phone, like.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
Do
it's
you,
just like.
do you show them that you're stressed out coaching them, or do you have to like be composed?
Like I'm just like, for me, I'm just like, just go to the next one. I'll be next to them, so like, imagine you passing, and I was like, I'm next to them, hold your phone,
Yeah.
and then they rock, and then the result go different way. Like the ball go higher, nicer, and then and then they get it. But like you know, like some players they're uncoachable.
Yeah.
Even you tell them for like 10,000 times, they still don't do what you say.
So
It's just like,
I have so many of those
it's just
players,
stressful.
too.
It's just stressful, and I'm like, oh my god.
yeah, like every time I have those sessions or those practices, I would go home just like, there's nothing I could do with them. They
Yeah,
just,
like there's
it'll
nothing
take more
you
time.
can do. Yeah, it's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and
Like-
it's like it's not to, you don't want to be that coach that's like, all right, we got to kick them off the team, because you need players
Yeah,
sometimes.
like,
if you only have
yeah.
12, you can't run anything.
Yeah.
It's like if they're getting the ball up at some point, it's like, all right, we can stop practice.
Yeah, it's just oh my god, it's stressful like that. Yeah.
So
I think 2 is a lot better at not showing his frustration than I am.
yeah,
I have a hard time not showing it.
it's tough. It's a lot of, like you said, a lot of patience.
Yeah.
I think I was also a coach where like I would just show no emotion, because I thought showing emotion was like the weakest thing you could do as a coach, a player, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just like this, not giving any feedback,
No,
nothing, not giving them no reason to think I'm upset or happy at what they did. It was always neutral or just a serious face. And I'm like, I gotta be able to show and express emotion as a coach. I think that's important, because it does let people know what you're thinking, what your thoughts are, how important this game is, how important like volleyball is to you in general.
I literally have a question from my friend asked me yesterday. So like she asked me about situation game.
Okay.
So about like the game's really intense right now, like 21-21 right now. And I asked her outside, and then you want to play outside, and then you are outside. And they saw the game really intense, right? And then they serve at you 2 balls in a row, and then you shank it 2 in a row.
Oh no.
What would you do?
As a coach or as a player?
As a player.
As a player.
Yeah.
Am I the one that shanked?
Yeah.
Twice?
You're the one.
I shanked twice.
Twice in a row. 2 in a row.
I would. Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
What would you do?
I
You got
would
this.
take a look at my defensive line and see if there's any way that I can push up and other people can cover for me, or if I have that trust with like, even if it's just 2 other people, if I have that trust with them and I know that they're capable, then you know what? I'm gonna push up. You guys got it?
Yeah.
And if not, then that's when that like mental toughness has to come in.
Right.
And you just have to be like, all right, I'm gonna try again. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh darn,
Yeah.
you know?
It's like, well, can't go back in the past.
Yeah.
That was actually a great answer. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think you worded it perfectly. Yeah, because like in that situation too, it just depends how you feel, mentally. Like if you're just panicking and you know it, you got to be able to delegate it to someone else. But if you know you just cannot do that, like let's say you have a middle that can't pass and you're just like, you can't just be like, but it's a little higher risk. And so at that point, it's like you just got to either suck it up and go for the pass and just trust yourself. If you end up throwing those points again, part of the game, something you got to work on again during practice. What's the most fun time you guys had coaching?
I'm not trying to be bully, but like when I actually play queen with them.
For what?
Play queen, like
Queen.
I play with my girl, and then we play with them, like get arm, and then civic sick, and then we just like we showed them they told them I don't know how to explain this. We just showed them that like you should do like what we do because we're not trying to go there to show off or anything. We just trying to show them like what you shouldn't done better, what you should do better. You know, like just by looking at me, and I'm here for your example. Yeah, that's why
It's kind of like reminding them it's actually a lot simple, simpler than you think. Right.
For my plate, I'm just thinking like too much. I'm just overthinking it, you know. So it's like, it's just like sometimes it's not that.
Let's see. I think like kind of similar to that, when I do get to jump in or even just observing, it's honestly taught me so much, like in my own game, that like I see things that, oh my God, coaches have told me that in the past, and now I'm telling this to someone else, and it like clicks all of a sudden what they meant. Not that I didn't already fully understand, but I'm just like, wow, it's like a totally different perspective.
Like once you become the teacher, it's a lot easier to absorb the information.
It is, and just like think about things during my personal practices, like at CSUN, in a different way, and I can kind of see how my players did something, and like, oh my God, I'm making the same mistake right now, or things like that, you know? And then also just how surreal it is, like my first tournament as a coach in a big, I think it was at Momentous Sports Center. That was really weird to like be back there, and I hadn't played club myself in like 4 years, but now I'm the coach. That was a really like fun, exciting moment, but like kind of scary and kind of sad, but also happy.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot of emotions.
It's like wow, I'm in a different position than I was back in the day. Yeah. And as a coach, I feel like my first years coaching, I wanted to be on the court so bad. Yeah. And then there came a point realizing like there's nothing I can do on the court to make things better. Like I have to just teach and guide my players to be the best version of themselves, and it's on them at this point. Yeah. So win or lose, I'm out of the equation. Right? Exactly. I set a lot of boundaries while coaching. With coaching, do you guys think, as coaches, you need to be like a psych major or what's another word for, I don't know. Do you just have to be good with people, or can someone that's not good with people still be able to coach? Or better question, if this makes sense, what's the most valuable thing you've learned as a coach to improve your gameplay and a player's gameplay?
Well, for the first part, I don't think you need to be like a psych major, but I think you do need to have played a team sport before, so you kind of know that dynamic of being a player on a team and being part of a unit. And then one of the most important skills I think a coach could have is, I think maintaining like boundaries and respect for your players so that in turn they hold that same thing for you.
Right.
You know, so not like berating them when they make a mistake, and you know, it's always fun to have a like joke around during practice and stuff, but also have that relationship where they know when you mean business and when it's time to focus up and when it's time to laugh and have fun and stuff like that. So being like balancing a little bit of both of those things.
Yeah. So would you be able to coach your friends?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't think
I guess
so.
I had the same situation. It's so tough.
Like,
For me, it's easier to coach my friends.
Oh, really?
Just because I'm really close with them, and I mean, it's depends on who too, you know.
Right.
But like the people that actually want to get better, that will listen to me, like type of like thing. That's how I feel. Yeah. And then go back to your back to your question. For me, as a coach and a player, when I coach, I see more vision. Like I can see outside the core, and I help me better in my game.
Yeah.
You know, so I can as a setter, so like you gotta control your game, your tempo and everything. So when you coach, you see all the tempo going on, and that helped my game a lot. Yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah.
Having like an outside perspective.
Because sometimes you don't want to go to tempo really fast, or sometimes you gotta control how your team works.
Right. That makes sense.
yeah. I think like in a low stakes, like for fun environment, yeah, I could totally teach my friends like who've never played volleyball before things because it's just for fun, you know, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But in like an actual competition setting, I think I would have a hard time like being that authority figure to people who I see as like my peers or like my equals.
Yeah.
You know, that would be the hard part.
That makes
for
sense.
me.
It's a tough boundary to break because they see you as like, you're my friend, now you're my coach. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
You know, and when you flip the switch on them, it's chaos and it gets confusing and it's just something I would avoid from here on out. And I have been doing that, so. Okay.
Oh, the high Q question that you sent me.
Oh yeah, what was the question? I have my phone recording, so I don't have it. That's why I sent it to you.
Where is it?
Let me just check the score really fast.
Oh, yeah.
'cause I have to grab some
Yep.
stuff.
Where's my phone?
Yeah, so Julia's playing today with CSUN, so want to make sure they're prepared when they go on. I think it's probably beginning of the second set. This will be our last question.
Right here.
Okay, this is from Michael at MJ_18. Do you believe it is possible to have a perfect minus tempo set like in Haikyuu? Have you seen Haikyuu?
Yeah, a
Seen
little bit.
Haikyuu? Right?
For me, it's impossible. If you have a like really good connection with your hitter,
Yeah.
then yeah.
It's possible. Yeah.
But it's like I would say like 50%. Yeah.
I think it's possible. I think
Yeah.
you'd have to work on it a lot and definitely, have that really good connection. But maybe like if you tried it 100 times, maybe it would happen like once.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's possible too. It's like it's just so the timing has to be so perfect, but it's so rare for that to happen that it's like if it does happen, it's like okay, it's a great highlight,
Yeah.
but you've tried it 1,000 times and it never succeeded because what you have to basically be in the air way before the ball's
Yeah.
even in his hands, her hands, basically hang there for a second till the
Five-
set
yeah,
goes
yeah.
to. So it is possible.
But it's really. It's like it's not.
Yeah.
Big challenge.
Okay. All right. That's it. Subscribe, like the video. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. And we're playing next week, so stay tuned for our highlights.
And then you should talk about our merch so you can sell the merch.
Which one?
About the.
Oh, yeah. If you guys want to buy our merch, we're fundraising for USAV Nationals, so just DM me on Instagram and I will send you the details. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. That was fun.